how did you really like make that transition from engineering to real estate?
I'm the guy that was watching an infomercial. This is back in like 2010, 2011. I'm the guy watching the 2 a.m. infomercial. I'm a plumber out of bumfuck nowhere and I'm making millions in real estate. And I was like,
I mean, you mentor so many people now. Just curious, like, is there like a book you like to kind of reference to your open mindset, or maybe a mentor that you kind of want to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. So the book that I'm going to recommend to anyone and everyone is Extreme Ownership.
So if you were to talk to Adonis from 10 years ago, what would be, one piece of advice you could leave him with?
Shake every distraction, focus on the money.
Okay, wow. Welcome back to another episode of Simple Chat. I'm your host, the CEO and founder of Simplending Financial, Janine Cassio. And today we have a very special guest with us, Adonis. Adonis, do you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Adonis Lockett. I have been left corporate in 2011. I own a real estate brokerage, mortgage brokerage, property management company, wholesale company, flip company, an equity fund, and I am a private money lender. I also created an education program that teaches people how to get into real estate by brokering private money loans. And I launched and co-founded the Private Money Broker Network.
Love it. And this is why I was so excited to have you on this podcast, because it's like, what don't you do? And it's like the whole ecosystem of real estate, like he is your guy if you want to learn to broker, if you anything you need, really.
It lives under the roof.
He can help with. So how did you get into, was your corporate job in real estate, or how, can you take us like how you transitioned from corporate to real estate?
Corporate job was engineering.
Oh,
so
wow.
My background is actually, I have a degree in electrical mechanical engineering.
Wow, that's not easy.
The crazy part is I got my engineering degree never planning to be an engineer. That was always just my fallback plan for whatever I decided to do. So my last job at corporate, I was in Dallas at Lockheed Martin as a rocket propulsion test engineer. But I spent all day at the desk. I loved what I did, but I'm the classic example of my boss made me hate my job. So I left corporate in the 2011, launched my real estate company, and then just year after year just kept building verticals up until I found, which I think I struck gold. Everything was flipping, everything was wholesaling, all the traditional real estate paths. And then when I discovered brokering private money loans, it was a game changer.
Yeah.
Yes. And so built the brokering business, understood that in real estate, the money is not in real estate, the money is actually in the money. So took my brokering business, became a direct lender. Once that happened, I expanded. I think I opened 7 offices in 1 year.
Wow.
And each office was, you center around the money, and everything else we build around us being the capital providers. And then it just kept growing to the point where, people would ask me to mentor them, to teach them. They want to do this and this and this. And I always tell them, start with the money. And I spent, 8 or 9 years saying that, to the point I was like, I feel like there needs to be an education that exists teaching people this part of the business, brokering loans. And it was shocking to find out that we're a $1 trillion industry and there's not one formalized education program that teaches people how to get into the business. So I created the Smart Money Blueprint.
Love that. Yeah. Even I think the NPLA is now trying to do like a broker certificate type thing. Are you offering, like, after you go through your program, you get like qualified? And
so I'm actually going, when the NPLA kicked that off, I actually kicked that off with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I met with them initially, kind of walked them through what the Smart Money Blueprint was, and they gave me,
So you're saying they stole your idea?
No. I'm actually.
That's just a little tea I was trying to get out here.
Actually, I'm in communication with them now for us to actually create a official partnership with the Smart Money Blueprint and MPLA. So there's a lot of things working that we I want to make this as available to every demographic as possible, and partnering with organizations like that just makes sense.
Yeah. Goes hand in hand. So if you were to talk to Adonis from 10 years ago, what would be, one piece of advice you could leave him with?
Shake every distraction, focus on the money.
Wow. Love that. Powerful.
Right.
Focus on the money.
Focus
Everything
on the money.
comes when you got the money, right?
Everything and everyone comes when you have the money. The number one thing I'm going to tell everyone is that even whatever the strategy is, a vertical brokering private money should be in everyone's real estate business, because in between the wholesale deal, between the flip, between the next rental, this is the easiest way to make money. This is the easiest way to build your network. This is the easiest way to get the inside track on what some of the most experienced people are doing. So here's what a lot of people don't consider. Brokering private money, you make money. You make money with a low barrier of entry. You don't put a lot of money out. But the one thing no one ever talks about, you talk to the customer, every single one of them, right? Multiple times a week for the full couple of weeks you're working with them. The most experienced customers actually become your biggest educators. I learned how to build my rental portfolio by funding a guy who was buying 3-4 a month.
Wow.
I was buying one every 2 or 3 months, and I asked him, like, dude, how are you buying? You must have millions of dollars sitting buying 3 or 4 houses a month. He's like, no, I just know how to move the dollars so that every dollar in, I get 2 out.
Love that.
I was like, okay. So that's when I understood, like, manipulating the monies, legally above board, manipulating the monies.
Yeah.
Manipulating the monies, and he bought subject to the availability of
moving. That's
he
the
bought
key, yeah.
subject to the availability of money. He didn't have a preference of neighborhood, he said, if the numbers meet my loan structure, I'm buying.
Wow.
And he was also the one that taught me, like, different.
Well, that helps with the psychology around, like, oh, this market's bad. Oh, like, all these outside sources that are like, oh, the rates are going up, and people are so worried. But it's like that keeps you stuck. The
market is bad for the one-trick ponies.
Yes.
The market is bad for the one-trick ponies.
So, I mean, you mentor so many people now. Just curious, like, is there like a book you like to kind of reference to your open mindset, or maybe a mentor that you kind of want to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. So the book that I'm going to recommend to anyone and everyone is Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
Extreme Ownership.
I'm just glad you didn't say Rich Dad Poor Dad, because almost everyone on this podcast says that. So something new, guys. Put this book down.
You know what? Extreme Ownership, it really positions you to cut the crap and take ownership of everything your name is even remotely associated with.
I love that. I always say that. I'm like, you're the creator of your life.
Right.
Even if, and then I throw like the worst circumstance out there.
Right.
I don't mean to but find out how you're responsible for that happening to you.
When you start asking the question, what could I have done more or better, you'd be surprised when you're honest with yourself, how many answers you can present, how much of a lot of the challenges you would avoid if you literally just sat back and said, let's just assume I was the only one that was to do this. How much more could I have done? And it's jarring how lax we are about the responsibilities in our life.
Accountability. So you have big accountability within your company?
So it is our number one core value. Accountability. Every meeting we start off with reading core values, and core value number one is accountability.
Love that.
And that's the other thing too. To join any company in my organization, your very first day one, you don't read the company policies, you don't go through the handbook, you listen to Extreme Ownership audiobook, and then not only do you listen to it, you gotta write down 3 lessons that you learn from each chapter, and you have to take an exam at the end of the book. Because my thing is, when you walk into our shop, we're a small shop, big operation, and if you kick the leg off from a chair, a 3-leg chair will stand only but for so long until it falls over.
Love that.
The team needs to be accountable, and if you don't embrace those policies, it just can't work for us.
Because it's so fast that the account manager is blaming the processor, and then the processor is blaming the title company, and then it's like, whose fault is it? Who's going to take ownership here? The deal's dead now, So if someone took ownership, might have been able to save the deal.
Exactly right.
So what is a success tip you want to? I mean, you threw so many at us already, but if you could leave the audience with another success tip, what would that be?
A success tip: cultivate every single relationship. That is the most underappreciated practice in our space. Every title company, insurance company, general contract, if you have a conversation with them once, during a transaction, during a handshake, have a conversation with them again. You never know who will be your next customer or the referral for your next biggest customer. Every person you meet should be a relationship that you cultivate. And the number one thing I despise about our industry, especially people on the transactional side, the borrowers and brokers, is how much they don't understand the value of relationships. Relationships in real estate is king. Relationships are king.
Yeah.
Is king, are king.
I agree.
Don't
I kind
judge
of
me
made it.
about
I made a little rant on social media about brokers just because it's like, we only want to work with brokers that are like long-term.
I saw your rant.
Because it's like, you're going to cut off, like you're going to blame us over a deal you brought to us that you were completely in control of. Like the broker had complete control. And he didn't like update his client with something. And for us, it's like, you're going to cut off this relationship and you're going to give this energy to us, like us as your capital. That's not the proper way. Like you should be on our side acting like you're the capital as well. And that mindset is so short term that I can't even put my energy there. And it's like, I'd rather cut you off as a broker.
I tell you, it's funny. As a broker, I spent 4 years brokering and I was that person. And I was dumbfounded about how interconnected the lending industry is. And I tell brokers, I'm like, you can get upset and go on this smear campaign about something you had control over, but just know that at some point, the lender you're working with, I'm doing lunch with in a few weeks. And when you become the person that, you know, a lender bad mouths, you know, I teach the people in the Smart Money Blueprint, the people who are going through this education series, the lender that you have something negative to say about because you had one bad deal go left, is often the best friend of the next lender you work with. It's often they're in a fishing club or a golf club. And I tell them, I say, don't be the person that people talk disparagingly about because you didn't know how to hold your anger because a deal went bad.
Yes.
And so,
especially a 100K deal.
Especially,
you know?
Those are the worst ones. Those are the worst ones.
Exactly. So Adonis, a little bit of leaving the audience with how to connect with you, how to sign up for private money brokerage. This is kind of where you just place drop all of your names.
Sure. So Adonis Lockett, social media, Instagram, Facebook, just my first and last name, Adonis Lockett. If anyone's interested in learning how to get into the private lending business, smartmoneyblueprint.com is the education platform that I've put together that teaches you every aspect of brokering private money. If you have a deal that you want to submit, lnhcapital.com. If you are just want to be in the network of people, join the Private Money Broker Network, pmbnetwork.com. So please connect with me.
Love it. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. So out of all the people that you've mentored, like what is a mistake that keeps coming up that you could share?
So the biggest mistakes that people who are learning this business make is they don't understand that this is a volume game, right? They come with a deal.
Volume has power.
Volume has power because they come with a deal, and that deal is what they're using to pay the car note, the mortgage next month, and they don't understand that as strong as that deal is at the beginning, as quickly as they got it, as quickly as it goes, because a customer is only as faithful as their financial situation in that moment.
Wow.
Volume is the name of our business, and the number one mistake is that they do 1 or 2 deals as opposed to doing 10 to 15 to close 1 or 2.
Yep. So how did you really like make that transition from engineering to real estate?
I'm the guy that was watching an infomercial. This is back in like 2010, 2011. I'm the guy watching the 2 a.m. infomercial. I'm a plumber out of bumfuck nowhere and I'm making millions in real estate. And I was like, well, hell, if he can do it, I can do it. So I started looking into real estate in like early 2010. And I had the worst luck of my first deal. In 62 days, I made more part-time in 62 days than what I net in a year as an engineer. What that did was that gave me a false pretense about how successful and how easy the business was. Because after that deal, I put in my resignation notice probably like a month or 2 later. Oh, bad idea. Bad idea. I had the worst luck of having a home run as my first deal, and it just gave me a false sense of confidence of what the industry really was.
Because it's cutthroat and, you know.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
And so that one deal, I was like, well, my annual salary, I'm gonna be knocking this out the park. And man, the industry handed me the industry gave me the boot. So the number one thing I would tell everyone in that transition is that I didn't properly plan for 6 months of inactivity.
Yes.
And so
that's what it's so important. It's like people have to understand, like, yes, we made $250K in a day, but you know, you might go 6 months until you see something like that again.
Correct. And the crazy part is that 250K of, like me, may have been that home run that you only get once every year or two. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was just a really bad first impression of what the industry was, but I don't have any regrets because it got me here.
Yeah.
I would just caution everyone to just be really realistic.
Save for the rainy days.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've told Tyler, our marketing director, that too, because we always go over the pipeline and our deal volume. And I'm like, ideally, we should take out the top 10 deal volume.
Right.
And then that's kind of where we're really at.
Right.
Because like, the 3 million, yeah, you hit that, but it's not consistent.
Correct.
It comes and goes, and it's like, where you're really focused is like the medium deals, like, you know, so you want to almost take out, like, just erase those from like your mind almost. Correct. And be like, this is where my cash flow is really sitting.
Correct. So consider those bonuses, and that's the best way to
exactly. It's just a bonus.
Right.
Perfect.